What's up guys, how's it going? And today we're gonna go ahead and create a simple animation blueprint inside Unreal Engine with a third-person character, with simple animations and customized skeletal mesh. So with that said, let's get started. Okay, so as you can see right now we are on the third-person template, and the first thing we're gonna do is actually get some new character because we want a new fresh animation blueprint. As you can see, this is the actual third-person character with the actual animation blueprint, default animation blueprint, which is this one. But since, I don't know, we want to use a simple one or even just change the character, here's what we're gonna do. So, first of all, we're gonna go ahead in characters and search for a new folder, and let's create it and call it Mixamo character. There you go. Now, once we click on that, we have to put our mesh. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and actually open the Mixamo browser. So after you log in, you can actually find this window with models and animations. As you can see, everything is for free. You can just click download and that's all. So for now, we're gonna search our actual character. So let's click on characters and choose wisely. I'm gonna search for the Y-bot, because it's the mannequin and I think it's the best one. As you can see, I will use the character that I said before. And next, we're gonna first download it. We're gonna download this in T-pose and simply click download. In just a few seconds, you got yourself your own character. And you can do everything in any model, whatever. You can just click on it and everything will work as the same as this one. So after we downloaded it, we are gonna go ahead and go back into the Mixamo character and drag our actual downloads Y-bot into the Mixamo character folder. We're gonna drop it. Boom, there you go. So right now we got all of this. What is this? This is the window that pops up when we are actually gonna import some content out of the Unreal Engine system. And for example, I imported from the download to Unreal Engine, and here on skeleton we're gonna set it as none because we are not gonna use those, because this is a totally new skeleton that moves and stuff like that, so we are not gonna use those. We just simply leave it as null. Next, yeah, that's pretty much it, and we just click import. And in just 2 seconds, we got ourselves our Y-bot mesh, exactly as the same as this one, with the actual bones that actually lets this character move, as you can see. Simple stuff, not that hard. So now we're gonna go back into Mixamo and search for an actual cycle of movement. So on animations, in any mesh, the animations will work the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and search for idle. As you can see, this is the perfect one because it's standing and doesn't do much. I think it's a good idle animation. I'm gonna go ahead and download it. Make sure to download it without skin and 60 frames per second, because we already have the skin or the skeleton inside Unreal Engine. So once we were gonna import this animation, we will select it from the engine, the bones, so it will actually work with the actual mesh. So we're gonna download this and do the exact same thing as the run cycle. Now, one of the things I need to recommend to you is the actual running animation. You see, this animation moves at its own, and that is an actual problem, because the movement of the character, the third-person character, is not based on animation, it's based on capsule component. Let me tell you why. So, as you can see here, we got in the viewport, we got a capsule component and the mesh. The mesh is not the leader of the movement. In fact, the capsule component itself moves the mesh. So the character movement is the capsule component is actually dependent on the character movement, which means that if this is an actual moving animation, it will just go here and the capsule will move on its own. And basically the mesh will detach from the capsule component, which is not a thing that we actually want. So on the Mixamo, you're gonna make sure to check in place, tick. And as you can see right now, this is stuck in one position in root. Same thing without skin, 60 frames per second. There you go. Now we're gonna search for a falling animation, which will be our jump, let's say. And click on here, and since it's already on a root, so it's not moving, we can simply just download it. And there you go. Now let's actually import the animations. So we're gonna go ahead on the characters, Mixamo character, and create with right mouse button a new folder called animations. Oops, animations. Perfect. Now let's double click on it. Go ahead in our file explorer and simply select idle, running and falling animation, and just import them here. Same pop-up window, but this time we're gonna select the actual Y-bot skeleton because it's linked, the animations are linked into that skeleton. So let's import and let's see. And if you did everything right, now you see the animations are in Unreal Engine. Pretty cool stuff. As you can see, they are perfectly working fine as normal. So now what we can do, we first go into the third person character and change the mesh, and first of all clear the animation class, which is the animation blueprint, and select the Y-bot. Compile and everything should work the same. Now if we go ahead here and play, as you can see, we have simply a T-pose character just moving around that does all the same abilities as before, but doesn't have actual animations, which is kind of a problem, and we need to fix that right away. But to actually add those animations, we need an actual code that actually senses the velocity of the character and if we are jumping. So what we're gonna use, the animation blueprint. Okay, so here we can simply just right click, go ahead into animation and animation blueprint. Here we're gonna code the actual control of the animations to actually let them play. So we're gonna select the Y-bot skeleton and create. We're gonna call it ABP underscore Mixamo character. Next we're gonna go ahead and double click it and poof. What is this? If you never saw this, this is an actual name graph. It's basically what we are gonna use to actually use those animations inside. So for now, what we are gonna do, we're first gonna go ahead and see whether the actual values of the character are. So we still have an event graph, like I said, but here we have something strange. What is this? Event blueprint update animation. Think of it as an event tick. Event tick and event blueprint update animation will work exactly the same. So for example, if I go ahead and just simply type a print string and preview it, as you can see, it's working like an event tick. So it will update the animation values to actually let them play. So next we got our try-get-pawn-owner node. What is this? This is target anime instance and basically gets the actual owner of the animation blueprint or the actual character. So basically, if we are using this inside the third person character, he's gonna know and actually get some values. So first of all, we're gonna make sure that the try get pawn order is valid, because with that we actually know that the animation blueprint has a pawn owner. Next, we're gonna go ahead and actually cast to a character. Why to not be Peter person character? Because we need the actual movement characteristics, let's say, and the actual third person character is a character class. As you can see, class settings, it's a parent class as character. If you create a character from scratch, you will already have a capsule component, character movement, and mesh. So we don't need to actually cast to a PP third person character. At least if we need something specific from it, from this character, then we need to. But if not, we can simply just cast to a character. So let's go ahead and cast to a character. As you can see, this is a general class. And also let's make sure that our actual pawn order is a character. Let's say it is valid. If it is valid, we're gonna go ahead and drag this and just leave it and promote this to a variable, and let's call it player. Right? Exactly, you might say. Well, it's wrong, because there's also many events that we can use, because this function here, this actual thing, is meant to actually be used in an event begin play, but we don't have an event begin play, right? Or yes, we have it, but it's slightly different, or maybe even the same. But for now, we're just gonna go ahead and use an event blueprint initialize animation that works exactly the same as an event begin play. So we're gonna go ahead and put in the exec node, right click, and as you can see, once we compile, it actually starts. Pretty nice stuff. Okay, now we need to actually update the values. Since we now get the actual player, we can actually get the movement values. So the first thing we're gonna go ahead and is just try and get the player. Next, we're gonna go ahead and drag the player and get the character movement. As you can see, character movement component. It's pretty much it, we don't need nothing else. The only thing we need is to make sure that the player is valid. Because this valid, the isValid node prevents any error to the actual, let's say, simulation of the game. And since it is not valid here because we don't have a pawn owner yet, it is not valid and prevents any error. So for now we're gonna go ahead and get the velocity. Once we drag the velocity, we're gonna go ahead and get the vector length. Or simply just type vector length. There you go. And promote this as the speed variable. Speed variable. Okay, so for now what we have here, we have an actual updating speed working, alright? So, now that we actually have a speed, we can actually start coding the animations. So, let's go ahead here. And the first thing we're gonna do is actually create a state machine. What is a state machine? It's the actual thing that transitions animation to animation. So we're gonna go ahead and call this locomotion. And drag this inside the result node. Next, as you can see, there is a warning. Let's fix that. As you can see, we need animation. So drag the entry node and add a state. Let's call this idle. Here, if we double click, we have an output animation pose. And since we have animations, we can actually use this idle animation. We will make sure it's a loop animation because it's an idle animation, and boom, as you can see, our character is actually animating. Pretty cool stuff. Next, we're gonna go ahead and actually make this character move. So we're gonna also go ahead and add a state, and let's call this run. Let's put the animation, which is a loop animation also, and boom. Okay, there is an issue, as you can see. What is this? This is the actual transition rule. Based on it, we can actually go ahead from idle to run. So let me show you how to fix that. So we're gonna go ahead and get our speed and make sure that the speed is greater than, let's say, 2. If so, we're gonna run. So let's try putting on 3 the animation. As you can see, we are running. Our animation is working and it's running. Pretty cool stuff, right? It's doing what we need, but now we put it on 0. What happens? It goes back to idle. Well, it doesn't really do that, so let's try that out. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead into the third person character, click on the mesh, and in the animation class, find the Mixamo character animation. Now if we go ahead and play, oh god, it's moving. Oh shit, it's moving. Look at that, it's moving. Real cool. But wait, I'm not moving anymore. Why is it doing the animation? It shouldn't go on idle, right? Yeah, that's exactly what you should think. Because we didn't add the actual condition onto run to idle. So if our velocity or speed is less equal than 0, we can actually go back into the idle animation and boom. Now we open, we play, and oh no, it's moving. Crazy work. As you can see, it's a little bit delayed, so let's increase the value. Let's say we put it on 2. It should theoretically stop moving before. As you can see, it's working. And as you can see, we got ourselves a movement character, personalized character in Unreal Engine. Now next, what we're gonna add, we are gonna actually animate the actual jumping sequence. How do we do that? Simple stuff. We're gonna go ahead and create a new state. As you can see from idle, we're gonna go ahead and simply create a new state called jump. We're also gonna link the run in case if we are jumping from idle to we are idle and we're gonna jump, or we are running and we're gonna jump. And we're gonna do also back to idle and back to run, if so. Now, what do we feel with these conditions? We need to actually get the value if we are actually falling. So how do we do that? Simple. Animation blueprint, we'll get our player, get is falling, simple stuff. Make sure to get this from the character movement and promote this to a variable and call it jump. And boom, now we're gonna go ahead into the animation graph and fill these conditions. So if we want to go ahead to idle to jump, we're gonna simply put if we are jumping, and if we're gonna go back to the idle, we're simply gonna put jump, and if we are not jumping, so not boolean. This is the inverse condition. Same thing as this. Okay, so now we need to fill the jump state, and for that we're gonna simply go ahead and actually call the idle following. Poof, there you go. Now if we play, as you can see, it actually works. We actually have a character movement. Pretty cool stuff, right? Yeah, now it's actually working, so yeah, with that said, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for next exciting tutorials in Unreal Engine. This was a pretty simple animation blueprint, and I'm sure that the more we will get into in depth of Unreal Engine, the more tutorials will be complicated and you will learn a lot more. Thank you, and I'll see you around. Bye guys.